I've got a bunch of wireless headphones in front of me, I've got a wall of headphones behind me, and I'm going to tell you which of these three, well, I guess four if we talk about this one, is the one you should get. Let's get into it. This is the Nothing Headphone 1. This is the Sony WH1000XM6. What an elegant name. And this is the Momentum 4 80th Anniversary Edition. All three of these are Bluetooth active noise canceling, popular headphones right now, but they all have weird flaws. So one of these might be the right one for you. God, they're all so strange. Let's get into it. They do have some good things about them. I'm going to start off by saying one thing: codecs don't really matter. If the frequency response of your headphone is garbage, having a more advanced codec isn't going to make the sound quality better. You might be getting more data, but why does it matter if the sound quality is garbage? It's like if someone cranked the saturation to 100 on your TV and turned on motion clarity and all those features to make it look like crap and said, yeah, but at least it's in 6K. Brother, I would rather have 4K and it not look like garbage than have 6K that looks like garbage. Don't worry about a big fancy codec if your frequency response isn't good. I'm going to talk about ergonomics first, then we'll do sound quality. By the way, Jake, you can cut that down some. Try and make this like a super tight feeling video. Look at this, we got a new overhead camera. First things first, this Nothing headphone. It's definitely an interesting design. It's been pretty polarizing. We've got the basics, power switch, Type-C, all the things that we're going to have on all of these headphones. All three can charge with Type-C. All three can charge while you're using them. All three have acceptable active noise canceling and acceptable transparency modes, though none of them have the same kind of transparency mode you get out of like AirPods. Out of the noise canceling on the three, the XM6s are definitely the best. It just depends on the frequency range you're trying to cancel out. Like airplanes, XM6s are going to just do better. Around the house for just ambient stuff, like the neighbors running a lawnmower, I found that the Sennheiser Momentums did really, really well. I do have these Bose headphones also on the table. Bose has kind of been out of the fight for a while now. The Ultras were okay, but they have such insane unit variation that you might as well not consider them because no two units are going to sound alike, and they all have different sounds in the left and right ear. They're severely imbalanced. Channel imbalance I'm referring to, despite being relatively light and comfortable. Comfort factor, for me, the clear winner is the Momentums. They have the most padding on top. They have a little bit of a divot right here in the middle. The ear cups are decently sized, relatively deep with angled drivers in there, and I'm not a huge fan of the touch controls, but it works. Either way, these are the most comfortable for my head. The Sony's, amazing ear cups, not as deep as they could be, but still pretty great ear cups. The downside is look at this. Where's the padding? This is just like hard plastic with like 2 millimeters of foam under it. I cannot wear this. If these had like a Capra strap or something like that, which I think Capra might actually make a strap for these. He just sent me a strap for my E3, which I am really, really loving. And he actually recently also made a headband that works on the Omega project. Yeah, I'll just link Capra's stuff in the description. I like what he does. If there's a Capra strap for this, that would make it really comfortable. If there's not, I cannot stand wearing this thing. The Nothing, pretty decent all around. It is a heavy headphone, but this hinge mechanism is like something that Apple tried to do on the AirPods Max and just did not do well, where it only connects at the top and it's spring driven. Nothing actually did a really good job of this, so I end up with pretty even pressure on both the top and the bottom of the headphone. The padding on top is acceptable. It's nothing to write home about, but it works. It's more padding than you get on the Sonys at least, and these have just enough clamp they're taking some top pressure off. The ear cups, reasonably spacious, not wild, but reasonably spacious, and overall I'd say ergonomics and the Nothings are not bad, but for me the most comfortable ones out of the bunch are the Momentums. I'm not gonna waste your time, let's go straight into sound quality from here. These are all interesting. Out of the box, the Nothings actually have the most balanced bass. Now, there's other parts of their frequency ranges that are a bit wonky, but these have the most balanced bass out of the bunch. The XM6, stupid amounts of bass and mid bass. The Momentum 4 80th Anniversary Editions, stupid amounts of sub bass. Like easily 5 decibels more sub bass than the maximum you would ever want. The Sonys, it's like, God, maybe 7 decibels more than the most sub bass you'd ever want, plus a lot of additional mid bass. They're really weird. Obviously, this varies some dependent on seal with the different pairs. I found the Momentums to be the least seal dependent, but the most variant from person to person. We'll get into that when we talk about frequency response. As far as overall sound quality goes, I did prefer the XM6 over the rest, and the XM6 do have an app that lets you customize them. Technically, all of these have apps that let you customize them. The Nothings allow you to customize the most. The app for these things is pretty great. You can actually go in and do a pretty significant amount of tuning on the Nothings in their app, and you can get them pretty far. The XM6s require less tuning to be good. You just have to pull the bass down and the mid bass down, then they sound pretty decent, but there still is one area in the treble that's got a bit of a spike to it, and that I just don't love. The Momentums are really, really weird. You can adjust them to sound pretty decent, but it's going to vary a lot from person to person. I don't know what sort of wizardry Sennheiser is doing specifically in these, but they vary a lot. And I'm not gonna lie, the timbre on these is just kind of funky. Sometimes it sounds really good, sometimes for vocals it'll sound great, sometimes for piano it'll sound great. But overall, it's just kind of weird. I don't dislike them entirely, it just varies a lot. The Momentums are a headphone that I really like wearing when I am watching movies at nighttime. If I want to turn off the surround sound, Bluetooth to the TV. I've been watching The Foundation recently, and all like the space sounds and stuff like that. It sounds great on these after a little bit of tuning, like the deep rumble. They're very spacious sounding. They have good soundstage. That kind of stuff is awesome with these, and the vocal clarity is pretty solid also. I definitely prefer the Sonys more for music when I can actually tolerate wearing them, and the Nothings I don't necessarily prefer over these for either of those unless you do some pretty heavy EQ, but I do like them for just wearing around the house and doing things, or just going out if I need to have the ability to listen to a podcast, or if I'm listening to music on the go, if I'm playing games on my Steam Deck or something like that. These are a pretty decent pairing. I'll just connect the Nothing headphones to the Steam Deck. I get decent battery life out of them, relatively good latency, and they're fine for things like gaming and whatnot, especially for airplane gaming, because the comfort on these is pretty tolerable. I think with digital alteration, all three of these headphones can be good, but out of the box, they're all a bit weird. Let's talk about frequency response and measurements. The Nothing headphone varies quite a bit. You have pretty hefty bit of bass out of the box, but the most tame bass of the bunch. This one is actually mostly within the average listener preference bounds. This is taken on a mix of the Brüel & Kjær 5128 as well as an open canal microphone and a real human ear with that person's HRTF. That was I'm the person. I've also done the same measurement methodology for both the WH1000XM6s and the Momentum 4 80th anniversary editions, which, by the way, from my measurements, these do seem to be different from the regular Momentum 4s, or they've just pushed some sort of software update since the Momentum 4s were widely reviewed. Here are all three headphones and their variation maps. So this is with the stock tuning on all of these headphones. You can see the Nothings relatively within the preference bounds, a little bit scooped out. The biggest problem they have is a bit of variation in the treble, but more so the fact that they kind of bump up around 1 kilohertz. If the mid-range was more linear on the Nothings, I think they would be pretty decent. Just that range between like 800 hertz and 1.5 kilohertz should be more linear. The rest of the treble variation, yeah, it's a bit scooped. It's not great, but at least there's some linearity there. And again, you can fix these things with the Nothing app. The WH1000XM6, sweet merciful Christ, in a handbasket, that's a lot of bass. What do you do with that much bass? What do you do with that much mid bass? It's insane, it's overwhelming. You need to use the app to bring it down because it is obscene amounts of bass. Other than that, the mid-range treble, pretty linear, pretty good, pretty consistent between both the microphone in a real human ear and the Brüel & Kjær 5128, both also showing that elevation around 10 to 12 kilohertz, and that is the one pain point on these outside of the bass that you have to pull down, and the horrific ergonomics up on top of the headband. The peak is survivable. The silly thing is that in Sony's app, you don't have the ability to adjust that frequency. You can pull up and down the frequencies around it, but you can't adjust 10 kilohertz. Why? Why is that? Just let me adjust the one problematic frequency, for the love of God. Then we have the Momentum 4 80th anniversary editions. What the f is going on in the treble? They have a lot of bass. They have a lot of sub bass. The mid bass is okay. Mid range, mostly okay. After 1 kilohertz, holy mother of variation. They're like inverse of one another. On a 5128, you get scooped treble with a peak around like 9K and then rolled off after that. Microphone and real ear, you get a lot more treble across the range going up and down, and it does sound a lot more like the microphone and real ear measurements, at least for me. Other people reported it being bright, others reported it being dark and scooped. This thing is very strange. I don't know what's going on here that makes it measure and vary so differently from person to person. I don't know if they have some sort of an active tech going on in here that's trying to calibrate to my ears or to the measurement ears, but it's very strange. The variation is very high. For some people, this is going to be an incredible headphone. For some people, it's going to be a very mid headphone. So if you're one of the people that lies right in the middle of this range where you get that perfect sweet spot right in between the high and low points, you're gonna have a great time. If you're someone like me, it's gonna be kind of fun for movies, it's gonna be weird for music, and that's just because of how inconsistent the performance of this headphone is. You can see why. I can't tell you where you're gonna land on this graph. All I can say is that it's probably, hopefully, somewhere within this realm of variation, which is why we do graphs like this, which is why we're showing variation from head to head. But there's only so much ground we can cover, and headphones like this are a weird edge case where things are going to vary a lot. Now, I didn't go through and record how long a battery life I got out of these. I just used them like a normal person, and then I did measurements. If you were watching my video, you are here for frequency response and sound quality and ergonomics, and that's what I'm giving you. Which of these 3 headphones do I recommend? Well, let me see if a capper strap exists for these. Okay, I've just confirmed there is a capper strap to the XM6, so that's the one I recommend out of the 3, because if this thing actually had padding on top, it would be my go-to. The others, I mean, they have pluses. If the Momentum works for you, it is really comfortable. The noise canceling is good, the transparency is good enough, and I found this to be a pretty enjoyable headphone, content depending. The Nothings, pretty premium feeling. They look, well, it depends on your preferences. They either look cool or they look silly, depending on your preferences. But premium feeling, it's very novel, reasonably comfortable, kinda heavy, but good for day-to-day use as long as you're willing to EQ them with Nothing app. But capper strap, it's gonna be the XM6. The XM6, just do it. The 10K peak, not great, but the rest of the range, you can pull down that bass, you can make that fixable, and they still sound pretty dang decent. It's not a bad headphone. There's a full review of these over, I think I did it with Resolve on the Headphone Show a while back, and I've still been using them since then. I put a lot of time on them. I've been using them against the rest. That's their biggest pain point, is the ergonomics and that 10K peak. You can get past those 2. These are the one to have. Bose, I don't know what they're doing. They're making some okay in-ears. These are the Quiet Comfort earbuds. And these are actually pretty decent, but this is a video about over-ears, so we're not gonna talk about those today. I think that's gonna wrap this one up. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you liked it, leave a like down below. Comment, letting me know what you want to see in the future. If you want to support the channel, you can check out the float plane down there at the link in the video description, where I post just completely random nonsense. Sometimes early access to videos, and sometimes just other weird things. So if you want to see some of my videos before they come out, that would be the place to go see them. As always, don't forget to stick around, subscribe for more videos like this in the future. Until next time, guys. Peace.